Dmytro Kharchenko, and he is the head of InvestTech and Space Tech Analytics. So Dmytro, I'll pass over to you.
Yeah, hi everyone. First of all, I want to thank you everybody for attending here. Longevity in space medicine, practical implication to establish the mindset of space as the next longevity frontier. Well, there is our table of contents, so we will first move according to this. First of all, I want to say some words about space tech market at all. We as Space Tech Analytics discovered this market very deep and create a huge amount of information with 12,000 companies, 5,000 investors, hubs and R&D centers, and government organizations. There is a bigger market that we thought, and we estimated as at $4.67 trillion. And expected to grow to $10 trillion in 2030. Why so big amount? Because we added to space tech industry also with satellite technologies and space explorations, also IT part, which helps satellites and other companies to create more and more and more digital technologies, which allows to create more added value here, and fintech, which allow to gather all the funding to create new startups, to develop many markets and to discover more projects. Also, public sector is expected to grow too. Well, actually, NASA launched the crewed flight to the International Space Station, commercially developed US rockets. So we expect that these projects, such projects, will continue to complete and to discover more of them. About company distribution, that is quite simple. North America is the leader of the industry with more than 6,000 companies. It contains more than 60% of the market. And as we see during the commercializing the market, the number of companies that exist in each year is increasing. Yeah, the second huge player is Europe and Central Asia. Next is Asia, East Asia, and Pacific. Then let's figure out the space medicine market, which we define as the combination of research equipment, biotech, bioengineering, and also longevity, telemedicine, and research design, which has 35%, 25, and less than 5%. Let's go to the key space medicine achievements. I think most of you know about Yuri Gagarin as the first astronaut, as the Hubertus Struwwelt as the creator of term space medicine in 1931, NASA Gemini program, Scale-up program, and so on and so on. And there is huge achievements which led us to the 2021. Despite that, spaceflight presents formidable challenges. Weightlessness, partial gravity, planetary dust, and space radiation pose a significant threat to humans in both spaceflights and living a planetary habitat, resulting in a rapid development of life-threatening diseases in astronauts. In addition, the closed environment can create additional stress on the space crew work performance and mental well-being. And next challenges for the space tech industry and especially space medicine is to figure out how to solve these challenges. But despite that, we have a growing interest in private rounds of investments, especially NASA made several contracts with private companies, and now 55% of all American space tech market contains private companies. Similar Similar contracts were made by China, by European Union, and less with Russia. Also, one of the good tendency is increasing the money spending per each contract. As you see, in 1921, the cost of the prices were rising significantly, which allows small companies to perform their solutions and to create more value for that, not for the big players. Here you have here you can see the main companies, the top companies in different countries in US, Israel. I want to point out the Biogen Inc., MicroQueen, Amgen, and NQX in US as the big players, Space Pharma and Sanofi from Israel and France respectively, and AstraZeneca, which increased the budgets for the space connected projects. Also, here you have a timeline of private biological research on the International Space Station, which is a really huge amount, and private age-related research in space. Is 35% of all private researchers on IS is dedicated to drug delivery systems to conquer cancer. We will speak about that a bit later. And also, as an example of coming era of private habitable space facilities, I want to present Axiom, which is NASA awarded company with 140 million contract. Thales Athena Space, a joint venture between Thales and Leonardo, and launch a large integrated flexible environment habitat. Well, there is very big industry, but we need to figure out our challenges for health in space. As you've seen from previous speakers, the main problem of inhabiting in space, there is changes of physiological state of the astronaut. Most of the problems deal with sensomotorical deficit, with limited paraspinal muscle volume, with lower limb bone loss, and changes in microbiome taxa. And to change this, we need to figure out how to recover our astronauts and get back to the normal state after the flights. And also one of the biggest challenges is the cardiovascular diseases, which the possibility of arrival during the long-term flights increasing rapidly to more than 30%. And I want to present the difference between short-term and long-term space flights, because when we see the consequences of short-term space flights, there are muscle loss, bone loss, and renal dysfunction. In contrary with that, long-term space flights got more significant losses during the neurological disorders, cardiovascular disorders, which arrival can be increased rapidly. Well, and also one big challenge is mitochondrial change. I want to point out the twin brother case from NASA, which allows to see the differences between the just Earth inhabitant and astronaut, which are twin brothers, and to see the difference between the settling here and to live in astronauts. As you see on the biomarker level, the changes are significant and are close to the aging of person. That's why we want to to combine our knowledges in space activity and aging activity. As you see, five important mitochondrial biomarkers such as SOD, BCL2, LDH, complex 1 and complex 2 have same changes in astronauts after space flights and aging too. So we can assume that these processes are similar. And one important issue is the mitochondrial respiration, which is decreasing during the flight, and increasing of membrane lipid peroxidation during the aging and living in space too. Well, to figure out more, you can go to our report combined together with the Age Analytics Agency, which is called Mitochondria in Longevity and Space Medicine, to see more about it. So how can we make countermeasures for long-term spaceflight associated disorders? There is a big amount of issues. So selecting fittest individuals, which is too simple: hibernation, gene therapy, protection drugs, P4 medicine, cell therapy, biomarkers, longevity neurotech, and so on and so on and so on. There's a big amount of issues. One of the important countermeasures of that is radioprotectors, which are capable to reduce damage caused by space radiation and increase astronauts' resistance to radiation exposure. Having a formidable potential, they are extremely important in the era of space exploration, development, and settlement. And what is good is that the amount of researches into radioprotector sphere is increasing during the 21st century. And we believe that the next turning point will be on radioprotectors. Which is quite simple, but exercises help to solve some difficulties, some challenges during the in-flight inhabiting, like active fitness, exercises which increases the amount of plasma in the body, blood volume, and so on and so on. And also, the important part is bioregenerating life support systems, which are considered the most advanced systems to provide space crew with oxygen, water, food, and clean up the air in the space. The development of such technologies will help to decrease the influence of the in-flight solutions. And the next one is the intermittent hypoxia training. Made in the second part of the 20th century, there is the technology which allows to train astronauts with hypoxia, with less amount of oxygen, and is widely used to practice for military and civilian pilots that allow them to recognize the early hypoxia signs and symptoms, and to work more productive and to decrease the problems with vascular diseases. More you can write about this hypoxic paradox in such articles. And also, I want to point out the technology-driven solutions for Earth-based, because as I told, the longevity sphere and the space sphere are connected, and different devices made just for just for using in space tech industry is also useful in our Earth life, especially extraterrestrial organs for terrestrial needs, drug development, next generation wearables, diagnostics with remotest patients, and analyzing labs. And one important implementation of space health technologies is biomonitor technology developed by Canadian Space Agency, aiming to carry out the comprehensive analysis of astronaut condition, including skin temperature, activity level, and so on and so on and so on. So I want to point out key trends. We need to understand that Earth is a celestial body. The origin of all space medicine strategies come from Earth, because we are from Earth, and we need to remain the same as possible in this space as the biological species from Earth. Longevity medicine is closely aligned with space medicine, as we presented before. We need to figure out that we need to adapt the space environment to human body for initial settlements, not the human species to space environment, because that is unfortunately impossible. AI, genetic engineering, and quantum computing will revolutionize the medicine. We think that there is a future of the development of space medicine and space tech at all. And we need to use robotics to augment 99% of human presence requirements. To find more information, we suggest you to read books from our general partner Dmytro Kaminsky. For example, Longevity Industry 1.0, and new upcoming book, Biomarkers of Human Longevity, which will be presented on our upcoming conference, Biomarkers of Human Longevity, State of the Market and Diversity of Practical Applications. So we invite all of you to that conference. That will be really exciting. And here on the book, for example, Dmitry explained the connection between space tech, space medicine, and longevity industry. And more you can listen on the upcoming conference. And more about the space medicine, you can read here on such articles from Space Tech, Space Tech Analytics. So just visit spacetech.global to learn more about it. And to find interesting companies for the investment, you can find on the dashboards, which are made on spacetech.global dashboards. So, and figure out more about DKG. So thank you. You can contact us, and if you have any questions, just ask. Thank you.